Welcome to Mad Chemist, and this is first chapter of chemistry according to IGCSE syllabus. Today we will discuss the properties of solid, liquid, and gases, and also their structure in terms of separation, arrangement, and motion of particles. Let's start our first lecture in detail. First of all, as the name of chapter is effect states of matter, so it is necessary to understand what is matter, what's its definition, and what is its composition. Matter is basically, in very general terms, matter is anything which occupies space, have some mass, and have some volume. So anything which acquire these properties is termed under matter. In the universe, everything we see is matter. Like if I can give example to make it more elaborate, the examples are human beings are made up of matter, plants, earth in itself, sea is a matter. The organisms live in water is made up of matter. Tables, pen, notebooks, all these things are matter. But in literal meaning, matter is composed of tiny particles. These tiny particles bind together and form matter. So, how can we distinguish different states of matter, or how can we divide matter in different types? So, basically, the structure, the bonding, the arrangement of these tiny particles decides state of matter. So we have understand what is matter. So now we will go through the concept of particles. What are particles? Before going into their literal meaning, I want to give you some example from our daily lives. This is a room which is dark without any inner light source, and this is a window from which sunlight is coming through. This sunlight in our daily life, we also have seen that in this ray of light, we see small particles dancing randomly without any proper direction. So these are basically dust particles. These are always present in our atmosphere, but we can't see them through our naked eye. It can only be seen through this intense light which is coming through sun. So if we see that these dust particles are very small, that they cannot be seen from our naked eye, but one single dust particle may contain trillions of tiny particles also. This is a dust particle. One dust particle may contain many tiny particles with respect to its composition. So you can imagine how tiny these particles are, which made up matter. Another example from which you can understand the concept of particle, and you understand this is the proof that matter is made up of particle. This is a second example in which a clear solution, which is water, and this is a red dye which is being dropped into this water solvent. This dye slowly dissolves in water and thus form a colored solution. How this dye dissolves in water? Basically, the particle of dye and the particle of water interact with each other and form bonding to form a colored solution. So, this is how particles interact with each other and form different colors and different states of matter. Now, came to the little definition of particle. Particle is basically composed of three things: atoms, molecules, and ions. Atoms are the smallest entity in a chemical solution. Like if you broke a chemical into its constituents, the smallest thing you can get is an atom. Also, atoms are neutral, they don't have any charge. While the molecules are made when two or more than two atoms bind together chemically. They react to each other and form molecules. While ions are basically charged atoms or group of atoms. If atom contain any electric charge, it will termed as ion. So matter is made of particles, and particles are made up of atom, molecules, or ions. So now let us discuss the state of matter, which is basically the core purpose of this chapter. There are three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gas. We have seen all these states in our daily life. Like in case of water, which is a very basic human life need. Water in solid form exists as ice, water in liquid form exists in the form of water, and water in gas form exists in the form of steam. And these three states of matter can easily be distinguished on the basis of this set of characteristics. We will discuss each of them individually. So let's start from arrangement of particles. As we see from the diagrams, solid particles are arranged in orderly manner. They are very precise about their position and there is no randomness. They are present just beside each other. And the arrangement of particles in solids is also closely packed arrangement. They are present very close to each other without any space. They also have fixed position. In case of liquids, the particles are arranged disorderly. There is no specific arrangement, they are just present anywhere around each other. They are also closely packed, not as close as in solids, but these are closely packed particles. There is very minute space between the particles of liquid. And they have space between their particles and they don't have fixed position. They can move to some extent. In gaseous phase, the particles are arranged in random manner. They are far apart from each other. They have large spaces. They also don't have fixed positions. So let's move back to the table and fill it appropriately. As we have seen, solids have ordered arrangement, liquids have disordered arrangement, and gaseous particles have random arrangement. Solids and liquids are closely packed, while gas particles are far apart from each other. Let's move to the next. This is attractive forces between the particles. As we have seen and we have studied that the particles of solids are very near to each other without any space. So, as they are very close to each other, they have very strong attractive forces. These attractive forces keep them in their place, and they also cause very much difficulty to break their bond. Like we need very high amount of energy to break a bond between two particles of solid. So very high amount of energy is required because the particles are very strongly attached to each other. In case of liquids, the particles are present in some distance and they have some spaces also. So the attractive forces between them are weak. Not very weak, but weak as compared to solids. Their attractive forces are weak so that this impact their movement and they can move somehow in small extent. While the energy required to break the bond between the particles of liquid is less as compared to solids. In gas particles, the attractive forces between their particles are very weak. You can say these attractive forces are nearly equal to negligible. As they are very far apart, they have spaces, very large spaces between their particles. They are very distant from each other. So this causes the attractive forces between them to be very weak. Also, energy required to break these very weak attractive forces is nearly negligible. It's very easy to break their bond. You don't require as much energy. Let's move back to the table and fill it. Attractive forces between solids are very strong. Attractive forces between liquids are weak, and the attractive forces between gases are very weak. The next characteristic is kinetic energy of particles. As solid particles are present in close proximity, they have fixed position, they have strong attractive forces. So the kinetic energy of solid particles are very low. In case of liquids, the kinetic energy of particles are low. They are also closely packed. They also have some forces of attraction that cause the particles to be adjacent to each other or to be near each other so they cannot move independently. While in case of gas particles, the kinetic energy of individual particles is very high. What is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is basically relates to the motion. Each particle of liquid, gas, or solid, the motion of each particle can be studied under kinetic energy of particles. So, in solids, as the particles are very tightly packed, the kinetic energy of each particle is very low. In case of liquids, they are loosely packed, although they are very close to each other, but they are loosely packed as compared to solids. So their kinetic energy of individual particle is somehow more as compared to solids. While in case of gases, the particles are very far apart. They have very weak attractive forces. They have large spacing between their particles. So due to these things, each individual particle of gas has very high energy. It means that each individual particle can move independently towards anywhere. The individual energy of gas particle, each particle in any gas is high as compared to is very high as compared to solids and liquids. So fill the table with our understanding which we just learned. The kinetic energy of solid particles is very low. Liquid particles is low and gas particles have very high kinetic energy. Next one is particle movement. Solids are closely packed, have their fixed position. So the particle movement in solid is very rare. Most of the cases, particles only vibrate or rotate at their own position. Like they can move to and fro at their fixed position. They can't change their position. Their position is fixed. While in liquids, the particles move very easily through each other. Like this particle can move towards this space, this particle can move towards this place. So we can term the particle movement in liquid as the particles can slide past each other easily. In gases, as we have studied, they have very large spacing between their particles, they have weak attractive forces, and they have very high kinetic energy. So the particle movement in gases is random. They can move at any direction, at anywhere, without any hindrance. So the particle movement in gas is random. They can move at any direction, at any time. We can also term it under Hamphoser movement of gas particles. Let's move back to fill the table. The particle movement in solids is vibratory or rotatory at their fixed position. While in liquid, the particles can slide past each other, and in gases, the particles move randomly at any direction. So let's move to the next characteristics. This is compressibility. As we have seen that the particles are present in at their fixed position, they have no spacing. So when there is no space between the particles, how can these particles can be compressed through any means? Like if you apply pressure on any solids, how these particles can be supposed to move as there is no spaces present between them. So solids cannot show compressibility, while liquids also cannot show compressibility, although they have some spaces, but the spaces are very small, and the liquid particles are very weakly bonded to each other that they can slide past each other, but they cannot compress. While in gases, the large spacing makes it very possible to compress it easily. So the gas molecules can be compressed to any extent. If we talk about the shape of solid particles or solid matter as a whole, solids have their definite shape. They cannot change their shape according to their the other needs or our desire. Liquids also have definite shape, while gases don't have any definite shape. They can attain the shape of any container in which they packed. While in case of volume, solids have definite volume, their volume can't be changed. Liquids have definite volume, their volume also cannot be changed. While gases have non-definite volume, we can change their volume as our desire. Solids cannot flow as they are very tightly packed. They can be retain their position and retain their shape and retain the area where they are present, while liquids can flow easily and gases acquire the space in which they put. They spread out evenly at all the spaces where they can be placed. So let's back to the table and solve the spaces. Solids have definite shape, liquids have definite shape, gases have non-definite shape. Solids have definite volume, liquids have definite volume, and gases have non-definite volume. Solids cannot be compressed, liquids cannot be compressed, gases can be compressed. So these are the characteristics from which you can distinguish solids, liquid, and gas. Or if you can say, how can we distinguish solid, liquid, and gases by only seeing them or by physical means? So the shape, volume, and compressibility factor can easily tell us that this is solid, this is liquid, and this is gas. So let's revise our lecture which we just have studied. We studied about the composition of matter. Matter is made up of tiny particles, and particles are made up of atom, ion, or molecule. There are three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gas. These three states of matter can be distinguished easily through their shape, through their volume, and through their compressibility factor. Solids have definite shape, liquid also have definite shape, and gases do not have definite shape. Solids have definite volume, liquids have definite volume, while gases attain the volume of the container in which it is present or being put. While if you studied the compressibility factor, solids cannot be compressed, liquids cannot be compressed, gases can be compressed easily. Also, we have studied the arrangement of particles. The particles in solids are arranged closely in a very packed and ordered manner. The movement of solids is in solid particles are very rare. They vibrate only. The kinetic energy of solid particles are very low. In case of liquids, particles are loosely packed as compared to solids. They have disordered arrangement. The particles in liquids move slightly, just like they can slide past each other. The kinetic energy of liquid particles are high as compared to solids. In gas particles, they are very far apart to each other. The arrangement of gas particles are random. They can move quickly and they can move at any direction easily. The kinetic energy of gas particles are very high. So these are the basic things which we have discussed today. Let's move to the next portion, that is practice questions. We practice some questions to test whether we understand our lesson or not. First of all, the question is which of the phrase refers to solid, liquid, or gas? The particles are close together. So, in which phase the particles are close together? Basically, in solids, the particles are close together. So, the correct option is solids. This is the arrangement of solid particles. This is the arrangement of liquid particles, and this is the arrangement of gas particles. So, solids have the particles at their close proximity. To understand it more easily and more clearly, I will give you an example. Like in an aeroplane, the seats are very close and adjacent to each other. So, how people are sitting in an aeroplane very close to each other and they're fixed and present at their fixed position, that is just how solid particles are present. In case of liquid, if you have seen any protest or any crowd or in some school assemblies, you see the people are present just randomly adjacent to each other with little spaces between them. They can move past each other easily and they also don't have any fixed positions. So this is how liquid particles are arranged. And in case of gas particles, they are very far apart as possible, as far apart as possible. So they are just like a balloon filled with glitter. When we burst the balloon, the glitters can move as far, the glitter particle would move as far apart as possible. So just like these, the gas particles are try to be present as far apart from each other as possible. The next question is the particles are randomly arranged. So, in which state of matter particles are randomly arranged? First of all, you have to draw the diagram of each state of matter. This is solid, this is liquid, and this is gas. So, can you tell me in which phase the particles are randomly arranged? Yes, you guessed it right. In gases, the particles are randomly arranged. So the right answer is gas. Next question is, they have strongest attractive forces between the particles. As we have studied in our table, let's move back to our table again, answer our questions about attractive forces. So let's see the attractive forces factor in the table. Solids have very strong attractive forces, liquid has weak, and gas has very weak attractive forces. So the question is, which one have strongest attractive forces present between the particles? So the answer is yes, you are right. Solids have strongest attractive forces present between their particles because they are very close to each other. They have no space between them, they have fixed positions. So these all constitute to the presence of very strong attractive forces between their particles. So our next question is, explain why it is dangerous to heat a closed jar full of gas. So basically this is a jar. This is a closed jar which is closed by a piston. And here gas particles are present. As we have just studied that gas particles attain the shape of container in which they are put or they are spread out easily. So this is how gas particles are present in a closed jar, and it's full of gas particles. So we have just studied that kinetic energy of gas particles are very high. They These particles move quickly and randomly. These particles are present in a very random arrangement. So when we provide heat from outside, these particles absorb heat, and the value of kinetic energy would increase more rapidly from their current value. Suppose if the individual kinetic energy of particles before heating is 35 joules, after heat, after providing heat, the energy value of each particle may arises from 35 to 60. This is just a supposition. It's not a real life example. So this increase in kinetic energy causes the molecules to move more quickly and to move more randomly. So by moving more quickly and more randomly, these particles hit each other and also hit the walls of container. This causes pressure on the walls of container, and this will lead to the burst of container. As the energy is very high, the particles are moving very quickly. They just bounce with each other and also with the wall of container. So all these factors, high energy, moving very quickly, bounce with each other, and the walls of container, all these factors lead to the burst of container. That is why it is dangerous to heat a closed jar full of gas. Let's move to the next question. That is, how does the motion and distance between the gas particles change in a closed container where the temperature increases and the pressure increases? So this is the closed container in which gas particles are present. If we increase the temperature, and the second condition is if we increase the pressure. We have just solved a question in which we studied the effect of increase in temperature on a gas jar that is completely closed. So increase in temperature causes the particles to move. First of all, we will discuss the motion. Increase in temperature causes the gas particles to move more quickly. It also causes the gas particles to hit each other more violently and also hit the walls of container with more speed and force. This is the effect of increase in temperature on the motion. While if we discuss the effect of temperature on the distance, By increasing the temperature, the gas molecules move further apart from each other, so causes increase in the distance between their particles of gas. The next one is pressure. This is the container which is closed and have some particles. When we apply pressure, the piston moves downwards and the particle moves closer to each other. As we increase the pressure, the particles will move more close to each other. So the distance between the particles decreases when we increase the pressure, and the motion of particles also decreases when we increase the pressure, because the particles move near to each other and they have very less space to move quickly or randomly. Hope so you all understand the topic and the questions, practice questions also. If you have any query, you can write in the comment section about this topic or any topic as well. We will discuss it further in our next video. So in the end, I have a homework question for you all. So just check, did you really understand this topic or you need some more practice? So the question is, potassium magnate is made of particles. Explain why. So you have to explain why potassium magnate is made up of particles. So you have to explain the reason why this is made up of particle, why you believe that this compound is made up of particle. And you have 2 minutes for this to answer, to brainstorm and to answer it precisely. You will stop the video and then after you write your answer, you will again resume this video and check the answers, as I will upload the answer as well. And only cross check if you have write the true reason or not. This is just for a minor test, like you test your understanding. So just stop the video and see it after 2 minutes. So this is the answer of question. Basically, potassium magnate, that is also known as KMnO4, is made up of particles because it is a chemical compound formed by ions K plus and MnO4 minus. Basically, KMnO4 is made up of K plus ions and MnO4 minus ion. So these both are ions that bind together to form this compound. And we have studied that all matter is made up of small particles, and these particles include atoms, ions, and molecules. And we have seen that potassium and manganese are ions. So potassium magnate is a potassium magnate is a particle because it is made up of ions. This is the reason. This is the lecture today, and if you have any problem, any ambiguity, or any question, you can just write it down in comment and I will answer it. So if you want me to address a specific topic, so you can write it down in comment section also. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.